Hello, students. Good morning. Today, I'm just going to discuss you about the what kind of tenses and format you can use in your writing section 1. As in our class, we have already discussed about the task 1 sections, that what type of task you are getting. So, uh, I just want to make sure that you have to use the correct grammar, the tenses. It's really important because if you do not follow, you may lose your score. So let's start. I just on that day I told you that you have to divide your uh, pictorial graph into 4 sections. The first is your pie chart. Already we get in the form of a where the information is given in the form of percentage, and then your bar graph is here. So bar is already divided into different sections like single bar, this is double bar, and this is the triple one, and the one which we discussed on that day, it was the multiple bar graph. Fine. So then we move forward about your table, that is the tabular information, where the information is divided into the form of rows and columns. So you have to just select the lowest and the highest one as per the information provided, or even you can consider the constant information where you see the equilibrium between the information that is contained in your tabular information. So fine. So let's move with your line graph. So line graph is basically shows the different trends. It can be upward, downward, stable. This is your upward and downward. Here I mark with the straight line that represent your constant, or you may also call it as a plateau. Plateau is basically where your things doesn't show any kind of the changes, it remains same. Fine. So we can also call it remained similar. Clear? So if we see like a trend, suppose it's rise fall, it doesn't follow any stability or any ups and rise, then you call it as a variations. So variations are called the changes, like it falls ups and downs. We can also call it zigzag trend. Fine. So we have a number of nouns, and combination of noun plus verb, we can use adverbs. So we have vast grammar that we can utilize here. And then the thing behind that, why I'm drawing only these 4, that there is a different connotation, because here you can get either information in past, that before 2020, because current is your present, that is 2021 where we are living right now, and your future, that is your proposed predict. You can have prediction here, so that is onward, like 2022 onwards, like 2050. So sometime we get different years for these 4 types of different pictorial graphs. So the format I already explained you on that day, that you have to make 4 paragraphs, that is intro, where you have to do the paraphrasing, that is what, when, and where. Then you need to create your own introductory sentence by considering the or these or the whatever, like you cannot apply, you can apply it here, you can apply this, but you don't need to apply you, I, we, they, he and she. This is strictly prohibited here. So never do mistake to add. Majority of students I have seen, they apply we. So don't use this. This is really going to beyond it, and because it's a just a pictorial graph, you cannot use we are not representing any persons here. Clear? So then in the second paragraph you have to present your overview. Overview is basically a summary of main 2 points. Clear? Summary of main 2 points means you have to, in the first point you need to mention highest and least. You need to just select this after the pictorial graph, that you need to select either highest or least, and then just remember without percentage but with your can be mentioned. Clear? And then in your second overview paragraph you can, in the second sentence, sorry, not overview paragraph, in the second sentence you need to mention most significant. The most significant represent your peak point. Peak is your the most supreme point that you have to mention here. And then, or if you don't have any peak point, you can consider the common. So what is the common thing behind it? And then in the third and fourth paragraph, that is your details. Here you need to give explanation by using comparison. Fine. So you have to give comparison here. So remember this. So this is the journal format that you have to follow. And then we need to talk about the tenses that we have to use. So we can use like we have 3 options. We can use if present, past, and future. So we can use 3. So make sure you can use both active and passive tenses in these 3 cases. Right? So I just mentioned you clearly, like if you are using present, like when you need to use present, if there is a 2021 is given, or if there is a no year given. When there is a no year given, when you get your diagram, when you get your life cycle, your flow chart, and you also get your process. So in these cases, sometime in case of map, sometime they have making the comparison. So be careful for this. First of all, you need to check if there is a year given, that must be 2021, and if there is a no year, that means it can be the case of diagram, life cycle. So what kind of tenses form you can use here? That is your, the first is your, you can use simple present. Fine. So in simple present, if it is active tense, then you can use first form of verb, or either you can use s or es. When you use s or es, if singular, then you need to apply first form, then s or es, and if plural, then no need of s or es. You can apply solo first form. Fine. Sorry, not solo, it's a single, like alone. So, and if you are getting present, so if you are writing passive form of simple present, then you need to write subject is and are, is for singular, are for plural, and then you need to apply past participle. Past participle means you need to apply third form of your verb. This is called past participle when you do your verbs, and then you need to apply by and object, right? So this is the format you need to use when you make the passive. Why I'm saying you can use both? Because your examiner want variety. So variety of tenses comes when you write different synonyms, when you write different connectors to add to link your one sentence with other, or when you use different connotations of your tense form. So I recommend to use both active along with your passive tenses, right? So then we move to the second tense. That is your present continuous. In your present continuous, you need to like if you're writing active, you simply say is and are, then your first form, then you need to add ing. You know that continuity comes when you add ing with your verb form, fine. And this is your main verb, this is called your main verb. And then you need to apply object, and before that you can apply subject. So this is the basically the tense form you can use for present continuous. So when you will use this continuous, when in your line graph you can use, because sometimes it says that in 2021 and you're getting like January to if I'm saying July, the trend is increasing. So you can see that yes, it is increasing, it is rapidly increasing. So this formation, when you explain, you can use this tense. And if you are using the passive connotation, then you can apply subject, your is and are, then you need to apply being, and then you need to apply past participle, that is third form, and then by and object. So this formation you can use. Remember this, when you convert into passive, you have to interchange your subject into object and your object into subject. Remember this. If you do not change, just apply this formula, you are going to mark your sentence wrong. So be careful when you apply correct tense. And then is your third, that is your present finished. Present finished, or you can also call it present perfect. So finish means the something which has been done, fine. That is a past. I will also share video related with your present tenses, past tenses for grammar students and for every student whosoever is studying English. It's important. So if you are writing active, then you need to write subject, then has or have, has for singular and have for plural. And then you need to apply your past participle and then your object. And when you're writing in passive, again the subject, you have to interchange your object with subject, and your subject will take place of your object. So subject, that is has been, and have been, your past participle, it is superseded by and the object. Clear? So this formation you can utilize here. So this is basically for your 2000 like for present tenses when you have to use, fine. So then we move forward with your past. So past tenses. When you apply past, when you get year 2020 or before, anyone like 1950, 2010, anything you are getting, then you can utilize this. And then the first one is your simple past. In simple past, again, that is your active and passive. In simple past, just your subject, second form of verb, and object. So why I'm applying second form? It is your simple past. So always use, this is your main verb. So main verb would be in the form of a simple past. Fine. And then when you convert it into passive, then apply was and were, then your past participle by, and subject object will be same, like a subject, and then you need to apply object here. And then that is your past continuous. In past continuous, if it is active, was and were. Was is for singular and were is for plural. Clear? So was, were, its first form of verb, then ing. And when it is passive, just was, were, being, then past participle and by. Clear? So you can modify into as later subject and object is as will be placed here. And then third is your past perfect, or we call it finished. So in past perfect, if it is active, then had and past participle for active if you are writing active tense, and if you are writing passive, then it will be had been, past participle and by. So be remember this when you apply either active or passive tenses in your explanation. Fine. So if we are talking about now, we are talking about predictions. So predictions basically comes when you need to assume about future, like 2021, 22 onwards. Clear? So it can be in terms of your line graph, again in line graph, bar graph, in map. Sometime if they are saying like if I take example of your academy, your career turn, like if we are going to make some changes and we are going to modify, or we are going to make some changes, like there is no parking space, there is no any kind of sanitary section is there, no like pantry is there. So if we are going to add in future, so we have some proposed plans. So in these cases you can take the predictions. Same in the case of map, it's a hospital or anything. So what are the proposed changing? So in that cases you can use predictions. Fine. So for predictions we will apply will if it is active, and if passive, then you will apply will be. So when you are applying be in simple connotations, then you need to apply the past participle. Be remember this, never apply first form and ing. You can apply, it's not wrong, but if you apply this, it shows continuity. So be remember, whenever you are adding ing with your main verb, plus you are adding ing, it becomes continuous. Be remember this. Fine. So in future, you are not going to going to add any continuity, so don't apply this. But if you are just mentioning it will be increased, it will be decreased, it will be fluctuated, then you can mention it will be modified, so you will use past participle. Fine. So either you can add some phrases like you can say it is likely to be increased or decreased, or it is likely means if it is favorable. Fine. Or it is unlikely to be increase or decrease, so if it is unfavorable. Be remember this. And then you can use modals. The modals we also call it as auxiliary verbs. Fine. So you can use can, you can use may, you can use might, you can use would. Fine. So these are the inactive, and if you apply passive, then you can say it can be, then you can apply just be, it may be, like might be or would be. So you can write this, or either you can write some phrases like it is not necessary you will always apply will. You have different formation, use models, give variety, use phrases, or use further more phrases like it is expected to be increase or decrease, it is anticipated. So use a synonymous like anticipated, expected, assumed. So you can use the synonyms for these words. Fine. So okay, thank you guys. So I hope you don't have any kind of doubt behind using any kind of formation for what type of task. So be remember to apply present, past and future by looking at the time period given in your graph. Fine. So already on that day I have explained you about your how to attend your process chart, how to attend your diagram, life cycle. If you still have any problem, just earlier I have mentioned that you need to add up, you need to just send your comment, your doubt. So without any hesitation, never feel doubt, your Mahima ma'am is already there to support you in every situation. She is there, so always consult her whenever you have any problem and try to give good results in your mock test. I hope so. I'm looking that you people get good scores in your exam. Bye, see you.